Hello. We are going over the 324 biblical prophecies that prove Jesus is the Messiah. You are watching this on the Halachgoy channel of YouTube. I'm a Halachgoy, and you can be one too. 324 biblical prophecies that prove Jesus is the Messiah. We have now come to Psalm 22. Psalm 22, according to Christian missionaries, contains 17 references or prophecies regarding the coming of Jesus Christ. This is the second most packed chapter in the Bible according to the Christian missionaries. The most packed would be Isaiah 53. Looking at Psalm 22, the 17 prophecies that come out of 31, or according to the more traditional 32 verses that are in this psalm. That's quite a lot to look at. The idea is to look at each one individually, and that's what I hope to do in the short future. My purpose in doing these videos is not to argue for or against any religion. My purpose of looking in these videos is to look at these verses that has been identified by people that read the Bible, people that believe it with all their heart. They identify these verses as being important, as being foundational to their faith, and they want people to study them. So I figure, okay, we can study these verses and see what values there are in them. And that's my purpose in going over this list. Considering Psalm 22, it's very heavy. A lot of burden is in the person that's saying this psalm. A lot of struggles, a lot of crying out to God, and a hope for the future. There's a story that is related to this psalm in a book by Rabbi Yitzchak Rubin in his book Rhythm of the Heart. It's about two people. These are two community rebbes, who take on the burdens of their community. You can also maybe relate this story, if it could be a couple of school teachers, a couple of doctors, it could be a couple of pastors talking about their church and the struggles that they face. It would have been a priceless snapshot. Everything witnessed that could be poured over for eternity. The time was somewhere in the 1960s. The place, Williamsburg, Brooklyn. A Hasidic leader of thousands came to visit the saintly Satmar Rebbe of blessed memory. The two sages sit among the pushing throngs of Hasidim, each one trying to hear the holy words being spoken. The Satmar Rebbe asked the crowd to leave the room. He wants to speak with his honored guest in private. The Olam, the followers, soon departs, and only the two tzaddikim, that's righteous men, remain. However, the door is left ajar, and some of the Talmidim, that's their followers, stand in the opening to catch a glimmer of whatever inspiration will transpire. The visiting Rebbe turns to the aged tzaddik and asks for a blessing. What can I possibly offer my most honored guest, is the humble reply. Dear Satmar Rebbe, I find it harder and harder to listen to the pain people bring to me. I feel their hardships. It cuts my heart. And I fear that I will fall apart from the burdens of my people. There is a moment of silence, then a whimper. From the room, nothing can be heard except the deep crying of the two holy leaders. Each shares his burdens with the other. There is no verbal answer, only shared tears of strength, for that is the only answer that can be given. So I asked you to come along as we explore the 22nd chapter of Psalms, a psalm by David crying out to God, considering how it applies to David, how it applies to righteous people, and how it can also apply to ourselves. Thank you very much, and I look forward to seeing you next time.